Okay guys, so today again we will go through this problem egg dropping puzzle. As you already have tried out this solution, you might have seen clearly in some edge cases. I also had got TLE over these in these cases, like 1110 test cases passed, only 10 missed. So uh, in C++ you can do some optimization over this problem by uh, not calling this solve function if this e f minus k and e minus 1 f minus 1 is already optimized, already calculated, and then pass it here, and some other optimization that might work, but it's not a very uh, optimized solution. To move to a proper optimized solution, we have to basically make the time complexity lesser than this approach. By the way, I forgot to add the time complexity for this approach. So for the time complexity of memorization would be basically the worst time complexity would be on square on into k square. uh, this can be improved using binary search. uh, One approach is binary search that wait to make it clear, currently this time complexity is on into k square, and we can also use binary search here. In binary search, basically if you uh, go through this code, it will basically make kind of a triangle value, like basically you will go on narrowing this uh, key value at some point, and basic basically you can say like you are starting from 1 to k, and then you are narrowing down to some f value. So to find this f value, within this we can use a binary search to find the minimized number of moves to find critical value f. I can explain this approach, but again I can code this approach out, but again the complexity of this approach would be time complexity of O into n into k into log k, where k is the number of floats and n is the number of eggs, or as per the question, as per this function. Basically log k here comes because of the binary search. But this would also time out. Let me see if I have already implemented this. Okay, I think this would actually work. Okay, this is a binary search optimization. So in this, basically what we did was, first first we made the optimization approach to a tabularization approach, and then converted it to a binary search approach. So this is the A group, and this is the flow loop, then this is the internal every flow combination loop, which is optimized using binary search. So this actually works. I If you need this solution, you can comment out in the chat section. I will just give you a GitHub link for this. But this, I don't think this should add more value to you by explaining it, as it is simpler and you can come up with this. So moving to a much better optimization would be using a different approach. That approach would be having quite low time complexity. Well, that approach time complexity would be something around O n into k. So the approach had removed this multiple itself. Now let's talk about this approach. Okay, we know the problem statement from the first video only. So let's start with insights about the new approach. So the approach behind is basically, you can say it as a reverse thinking approach. So what do I mean by reverse thinking approach? So basically, what was the ask of the question? The ask of the question was that we have to find the minimum number of moves to determine the value of critical fluid F with certainty. So instead of calculating this minimum number of moves needed to solve for k flows, we will ask a different question, and the different question would be, how many flows can we check with a given number of moves and x. So basically, instead of calculating minimum number of moves to solve for k flows, we can check with a given number of moves and eggs. So what do we mean by this is that given a particular number of floor, basically given a particular number of moves and eggs, using this number of using, let's say, k number of moves and some eggs, how many floors we can check. So basically here would represent max number of floors you can paste with in moves 44 and EX. Here regarding the recurrence relation would be something like dpm is equals to 1 plus dpm minus 1 e minus 1, one lesser egg and previous move, and also one lesser egg without egg being destroyed. So to break this equation, one is used to specify that you spend one move to drop egg. Second, this one dpm minus 1 e minus 1 specifies that if egg breaks, you are left with e minus 1 eggs and m minus 1 moves. For the third variable m minus 1 e, this should basically mean if egg doesn't break, you are left with e eggs and one lesser move. So we can conclude that so with each move number of floors we can solve. Okay, using idea how do we need to code this out. So basically, I will just write the while loop. Let's say a variable int count is equals to 0 while dp count and when is less than k, then number of eggs and keys, number of floors, count plus plus for I is equals to 1. I will all eggs are utilized and here all floors have been reached. I plus plus then dp count I is equals to 1 plus this formula dp count minus 1 I minus 1 plus dp minus 1 it remains the same. So I okay now list list with count is equals to 0 and count keeps on increasing until basically the table says that yes with count cnt count moves and in x I can solve k floors. We can take an example. Let's say table 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So here this is is equal to 0, count is incremented, so this becomes 1, then I is equals to 1, 1 plus count minus 1, 0, this 1, 0, so 1 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to 1. Okay, then here n is 2, I for I is equals to 1, I is equals to 2, then again these 2 plus I did one mistake, so this one is basically this table is in a reversed manner. Okay, so this one and this one is 1, then for this one and this one 0 plus 1 and 1 is equal to 2, then for this one 1 plus 1, 1 for the move 3, then for this 3, then for this 2, 3, 5, 6, then for this 3 plus 1, 0 plus 3 plus 1, 4, 3 plus 6, 9, plus count more 10, and 10 is equal to 10. So using 2x and at this time how much is the count? 4 is the count. So as 4 was incrementing every time, 4 count was incrementing every time, so it became 4. So answer would be 4 itself. This solution I have here, so I will just add this here for your understanding. It's same only. Now once this is done, what is the time complexity? Actually this is not the time complexity going to nk, it's actually going to n into logK. Why? Because this loop goes till logK and outside loop runs till logK and inside loop runs for n. That's the reason of logK. Now how I reach logK is another breakdown I have to explain, which is basically I can make you understand by first explaining why logK. And what is logK? LogK usually refers to algorithms whose base is true unless specified otherwise. That is, um, the complexity is getting reduced by 2. So here basically if you check, let's say when we have to compute for 3 floor, we need 0 moves, one one floor we need 0 moves. For 2 we need one move, you can compute the answer. For 4 we can compute in 2 moves. For 8 we can compute in 3 moves, and so on. For 1024 we can compute in 10 moves, and log 2 of 1024 is this part. So that's why it's okay. Feel free to add anything in comments about me or any queries regarding these. I would be happy to dive deeper into this. Thanks for watching.